Welcome to This Explainer. It's kind of wild to think about, but human behavior is actually so routine that data scientists have found our daily patterns are statistically predictable over 90% of the time. 90%! Today, we're diving straight into the rapidly approaching reality of predictive AI. Now, we hear a lot about artificial intelligence generating code or images, right? But there's a frontier opening up right now that is far more profound: prediction. What happens when our neural networks get so sophisticated and our datasets become so unimaginably vast that the algorithm essentially becomes an oracle? Well, we're going to unpack the mechanics of this technology, how it could fundamentally rewrite the rules of society, and, of course, the unprecedented risks that come right alongside it.
So imagine this cinematic, highly futuristic reality for a second. What if technology could predict every single future event? Now, to some extent, we're already seeing the early days of this. Retail algorithms have famously predicted major life events, like, say, a customer's pregnancy, based entirely on micro shifts in their purchasing habits, literally before the customer even told their own family. Now, take that capability and multiply it by 1 billion. Picture a morning where before you even open your eyes, an algorithm already knows exactly the localized traffic delays you'll hit, the microscopic shifts in global financial markets, and precisely which decisions your colleagues are going to make that afternoon. We're talking about a level of foresight where the unknown becomes a calculated certainty well before the event actually happens.
Basically, a world operating like this leads to a psychological environment with zero surprises. Absolutely none. And we really have to ask ourselves how an existence completely devoid of the unexpected would alter the human experience. Throughout evolutionary history, our psychological resilience has been built entirely on navigating uncertainty, not knowing what happens tomorrow. That's exactly what shapes our adaptability, our ambition, and our drive to innovate. If you completely strip away that uncertainty, human life is fundamentally transformed forever. Everything from how we allocate our resources to how we perceive our own life's purpose shifts radically when the whole future is mapped out in advance.
Section 1. The Power of Prediction. Okay, let's separate the sci-fi from the actual science here. It's vital to understand that this isn't magic, and it definitely isn't a crystal ball. It is grounded entirely in deep learning, probabilistic forecasting, and massive data analysis. We are moving so far beyond simple human intuition. By feeding unimaginably large data sets into advanced neural networks, these systems can calculate behavioral probabilities with a level of precision that our brains simply cannot achieve on their own. It is literally the raw power of mathematics and machine learning applied directly to human life.
So how does it actually work? The process of turning all this raw human behavior into accurate foresight follows 3 really clear steps. Step 1 is just a relentless collection of massive amounts of data. We're talking geolocation, biometric feedback, financial transactions, and every little micro-interaction you have online. Step 2 is where the deep learning takes over. The AI sifts through exabytes of noise to find hidden, multidimensional patterns in our behavior that are totally invisible to the human eye. And finally, Step 3 translates those patterns into highly accurate forecasts. Think about your morning commute, for example. The system aggregates your historical location data, correlates it with real-time municipal traffic flows and weather patterns, and accurately predicts a traffic jam on your exact route before you even reach for your car keys.
Section 2. Transforming our daily lives.
What's fascinating is how effortlessly these predictive capabilities scale up from the micro to the macro level. At the personal level, you and I could use these tools to optimize our daily decisions, like knowing exactly when to schedule deep work based on predicted cognitive diffs, or knowing the precise moment to buy a house. Step it up a level, and businesses are already utilizing anticipatory logistics. Companies like Amazon use predictive models to move inventory to regional fulfillment centers before you even click buy. And at the highest tier, governments could deploy this infrastructure to model and prevent catastrophic infrastructure failures or perfectly optimize their emergency responses before natural disasters even strike. But, every major technological leap forces a complex societal trade-off. On one hand, we're looking at massive economic benefits. Algorithmic trading could create perfectly efficient markets, and vastly superior medical predictions could keep the global workforce healthier than ever before. But we absolutely cannot ignore the very real human cost of an automated workforce. As predictive models become capable of handling advanced analytical thinking and complex logistics, a huge spectrum of jobs, from warehouse forecasting to mid-level financial analysis, will simply disappear. We have to weigh the absolute efficiency of a smarter market against the harsh reality of workforce displacement.
Section 3. Society and Free Will.
Living in a highly predictable environment means human interaction would fundamentally change. Think about a specific, everyday scenario. If a deep learning algorithm analyzes your communication patterns and biometric responses and predicts an 85% chance that a new romantic relationship is going to fail within a year, do you still pursue it?
Human relationships are built on spontaneity, shared discoveries, and learning to trust each other through unpredictable trials. Relying heavily on technology to just bypass all that friction means we start trusting the machine's foresight over our own human instinct. And that creates a society that is radically different in how it connects.
Which leads us to a really fascinating philosophical conflict. If an algorithm knows what you're going to do before you even do it, do you still have free will? Seriously, think about it. If a probabilistic model predicts you'll make a specific career pivot, and you end up doing exactly that, were you genuinely making a free, conscious choice? Or were you just playing out a highly probable mathematical script that was written the very second your dataset was analyzed?
Actually, it is absolutely critical to distinguish between a probabilistic model and a deterministic one here. A prediction is just a forecast. It's data about highly likely outcomes based on your current trajectories. Destiny, on the other hand, implies an unchangeable, rigid fate. And this distinction really matters because it means humans maintain the agency to intervene. If an algorithm predicts a negative health or financial outcome, that prediction itself acts as a brand new feedback loop. You can use that exact data to change your habits, alter your trajectory, and totally invalidate the original prediction.
Section 4. Weighing the hidden dangers.
The tension here is immense. On the one side, we have the promise of utopian safety, incredible early warning systems for public health emergencies, and perfectly optimized zero-fatality transportation grids. It sounds amazing, right? But that level of optimization requires unparalleled surveillance. We risk trading our personal autonomy to live with the constant low-grade anxiety of knowing exactly what our future holds. And beyond this psychological toll, there is the severe danger of powerful, centralized organizations leveraging this predictive capability to serve their own interests rather than the public good.
To accurately predict your behavior, a system requires unfiltered 24/7 access to your data. The result? A total dissolution of personal privacy. Goodbye, privacy. But honestly, the true danger is manipulation. If algorithms know precisely how your specific demographic reacts to psychological stimuli, they can be weaponized. We've already seen the precursors to this with micro-targeted political nudging during elections. Corporations can essentially manufacture desires based on our physiological data profiles. We could quickly slide into a reality where technology isn't just predicting our decisions, it's actively curating our environment to control them.
Section 5. Embracing our predictive future.
Now, despite all those heavy risks, the utopian potential of this technology is already beginning to materialize in incredible ways. We aren't just talking about predicting consumer habits anymore. Right now, machine learning applied to genome sequencing is showing the potential to detect markers for Alzheimer's and specific cancers literally years before any physical symptoms ever emerge. We're looking at the dawn of smart cities, equipped with dynamic infrastructure that can independently reroute power or reinforce physical structures before extreme weather even strikes, potentially saving countless lives on a massive scale.
We are clearly standing at a major technological crossroads here. Advanced predictive algorithms could elevate our collective quality of life, our physical health, and our infrastructural safety to heights we can barely comprehend right now. However, achieving that level of total control over the future creates entirely new, unprecedented vulnerabilities. Attempting to completely engineer away the unknown might solve our oldest, most persistent problems, only to replace them with existential threats to our privacy, our autonomy, and our very human nature.
I want to leave you with one final, provocative thought to chew on. If predicting the future gives us absolute, perfect control over our environment and our biology, does it ultimately cost us our fundamental human freedom to choose? It's a razor-thin balance between the incredible power of foresight and the essential, messy human beauty of experiencing the unknown. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it provided you with a clear, engaging look at the predictive horizon that is rapidly approaching us.